as my opponent stated, there are ways to test human tissues in labs without actually testing on people. However, this is only done in a petri dish. What my opponent fails to realize is that a petri dish is not living, bleeding, feeling human tissue. It does not react the same way as actual human tissue on a human would or on another living organism. Anatomically, they're just not the same thing. Even though they're the same cells, it's not a living, breathing, complex organism. Some of the tests could not ethically be done on humans without prior animal testing, and viable alternatives to animal testing are not yet available for all stages of trials needed before a treatment can be tested on humans. Saying that you can test cancer research on a petri dish of human cells is not the same thing as testing it on a pig, where the skin cells will react the same way as the petri dish, or on a human, where the human cells will actually, the human can tell you what's happening. Let's see. The use of animals for scientific research is a necessity. Alternatives are considered and are not always sufficient. Therefore, alternatives are not valid options. Also, there to refute the point of, that the better option is to, test in petri dishes. So, some diseases such as asthma and cystic fibrosis involve very complex physiological processes that can only be studied in whole living organisms. Until there is a cell that can be studied individually and can exhibit human-like responses, animals are necessary. We actually share a lot more similarities with animals than people think. Chimpanzees share 99% of their DNA with humans. Chimpanzees have been used in commonplace in the US military for finding countermeasures to biological weapons. They have made vaccines for things like anthrax and Ebola. And mice are actually 98% genetically similar to humans. And all mammals, including humans, are descended from a common ancestor and have the same set of organs in very similar places in the body, which give us very, very good human analogs to test on. Many lethal and harmful diseases have actually been eradicated through testing with animals. Diseases such as smallpox, polio, insulin was developed by testing on animals. Until the 1980s, we used insulin grown in pigs to give to people with diabetes. And there are now vaccines for tetanus and rubella that we developed through testing on animals. With these points, I think I have sufficiently refuted what Albert has said and supported what Samantha has said.